Hello everyone, welcome back to Casual Watch Talk, and we're coming to you this week in glorious audio version because we think we might try and grow the audio side a little bit more. We had a go with it, YouTube, didn't we, Kris? We had a little go with it.
We tried it. Little experiment, I'd say. Well, a long experiment. Enough to get we need to get some data. So, that's the key, is to get a bunch of data and then figure out if we are, and we think, and we'd love to have some feedback on this, we think we're maybe cannibalizing our audience, where we know some folks that will, listen to the podcast and then maybe feel like they had to go watch it on YouTube. Yep. And then we also think that there's a bunch of people on YouTube that wouldn't stick around for a podcast. So that's kind of the experiment we're in.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of an experiment. The interviews still going to be video because we know you love those when we've got the key people from the watch industry on. That they'll still be in the video format. We'll do the odd clip from time to time, but it seems, looking at the figures, that overwhelmingly more people enjoy the podcast on audio version because it's longer format. You can obviously listen to it while you're doing other things as well. So we're gonna try and grow the audio format a little bit more. Also, YouTube's algorithm is a bit unforgiving on, I believe, the podcast format. It's loving live streams at the moment.
They added, I think they did the YouTube Shorts, I think, while we were in the midst. So, the algorithm definitely changed while we were kind of running our, let's put these on YouTube. And if there's any clear signal there that of what the algorithm wants, those shorts were, less than a minute of vertical video is what they were looking for. And we were giving them 45 minutes of long form content. So.
Yeah, but we'd love your feedback, and we still have a growing Discord group, and the Facebook group is going from strength to strength. So please head on over to there. Well, Kris, it's been a while since we've done one of these together. I've had a couple of interesting guests on recently, but we haven't done a wristwatch check in this entire time. So what are you wearing?
So I have my Bell & Ross GMT.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah. It I had actually I can tell a little story. I had my Christopher Ward chronograph, the blue dial, 70 style diver chronograph, and I was thinking of bringing that out to Disney. We went to Disneyland a couple weeks ago, and I was like, it's fun. I'll put it on an orange strap, have some fun with it. But I figured out that the Zin 104, or actually anything with a countdown bezel, is amazing for amusement parks. So I had a little fun with Instagram stories. So I actually had some folks that kind of didn't sort of recognize that you could do this. So countdown bezel. So instead of counting up, counts down. So what you do is you schedule a return time. So say, this line is going to be this long, and, you can come back here at 3. Or if you buy food in the park now, a lot of times they'll have a seating time that they'll give you. And so they're like, all right, we'll have you back here at 3. So then you turn the bezel so that 12 o'clock arrow basically points to when you're going to be at that thing. And then you can read how many minutes, countdown, how many minutes you have. It's amazing because you can just look at your wrists at any time and be like, we got 45 minutes. We can go on this next ride. And I've been a couple times now with the 104, and it's just great for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm still wearing my Seiko speed timer, and I've been wearing it on a bund style strap, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in one of the upcoming stories, the strap. But I really like this. The bund strap adds that extra visual element to it, so I'm not overly concerned that it looks a bit small on my wrist anymore, because the bund strap really adds that visual element. I love it. It's a really good looking watch. It's a really good looking watch. It's quartz, it's solar quartz. Hodinkee just did a great article on it. I'll link it in the show notes. But it's a really good looking Seiko watch. I've been living in this, and the reason that I've been living in it is because I've still been doing my one watch challenge. So Kris, what are we on now? We're nearly at the end of March.
Right.
And honestly, guys, I have, if anybody watched that, was it the last one that we did where we talked about the one watch challenge?
It's my life's a blur. I don't know.
Anyone who's not familiar, I decided at the start of this year that I would try and only buy one watch in 2022. There was a whole host of reasons, and some of those reasons I'm actually seeing fringe benefits from now, so I'm not overly obsessing about watches. Having said that, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, which we'll talk about shortly, but so I'm not overly obsessing about it, and I'm enjoying watches without the need to own them. And it's been tempting because Christopher Ward have released some beautiful watches.
Yeah.
Did you see that last GMT one?
I saw that, and I think I'm in the same place. I think you can, and if you're not in this place, you can definitely get in this place, this headspace of I'm totally content with what I have. I don't feel like I need anything else. I don't have that like constant, I need the next thing, or I'm kind of hunting. I'm completely satisfied with what I have. And maybe that, maybe that one watch saving up sort of put you in that mindset.
I think it did, because obviously with being a watch reviewer as well, I haven't, the last watch, I have been sent one watch, to be fair, but I did a review on that and checked that out on the channel. This was the watch that I got sent that came with a blowtorch.
That's right, I saw that.
It was a lot of fun, that. Check it out on the channel, guys. It came with a blowtorch for adding blue colour to the hands. It was one of those DIY watch clubs. Check out the video. I'll leave it in the show notes here, but also check out DIY Watch Club. If you're even slightly interested in watchmaking, everything you need is in that kit, and
that's cool.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a very next level for you. You're getting into watchmaker territory now. I have not blued hands, so that's pretty cool.
If you are interested, I'll send you the whole thing. I might not be able to send you the blowtorch in the post, but it's just one of those creme brulee ones. It's not like a full. I mean, I made the title sound like it was a full-on blowtorch, but it's actually one of those creme brulee.
Yeah. Clickbait YouTube, perfect. Yeah, it's good.
I've been doing the one watch challenge, and in that last upload that we did, I talked about some of the contenders that I thought I would want at the end of the year. And I think I've got three main contenders still. I'm still really intrigued about that blue dial Panerai for some reason. Still really intrigued about it. I'm definitely in the same mindset as in I'm all in on the Grand Seiko spring drive technology, but I'm yet to find that one. I'll give a shout out to, I'll give him a shout out later as well, but Adrian at Bark and Jack just did a live stream with Paul Thorpe, and he said the same thing. He loves the idea of Grand Seiko, but there's not one that sparked that interest enough for him to buy one, and I'm in the same place. I know I want to own a watch that's spring drive, but the current range, there's not one that I think they're worth the money. There's just not one that I want to.
I wonder what that is, because I know, I mean, they're sporty enough, and they're sporty versions. They have diver versions. They have, I mean, I think they're more geared towards a dressier watch style. Maybe that's why, like with very polished. So I mean, if you're not looking at like polished cased, polished lugs, sort of like a smooth rounded shape design, 40 mil, 3-hander, great dial. Maybe they're just there are certain ones they've done. There's touches, but I think there's not one that sort of stands out as maybe a a little bit more of a modern tool watch that maybe you'd be going for?
Yeah, I'm still really thinking about, although the prices have just gone up again, and also they're impossible to get hold of. But that grey dial Datejust 41 is still the one that I immediately think of when I think of, wow, I'd really like to own. And a couple of things fell off the list, and I think, Kris, when I was speaking to you about this last, the Seamaster, the 300 one, the James Bond one, when I really thought about it, I don't, it's a great watch, iconic, everything. Right. I love James Bond, but the hands, there's just something about the hands for me that I don't like. And
it's
I know
tough to see through them,
yeah, I know I couldn't live with it. Actually, I should do a little shout out as well on this. I went into the local Tudor AD here. There's one of only 2 Tudor ADs one's in Orlando in the Mall of Millennia. So our friend Justin, who used to be the Rolex AD, is now heading up the Tudor store, and it's small, but it is fantastic in there. They've got a fiberglass diver wearing a Pelagos. Nice. It's beautifully set up in there. They've got an area at the back that looks like a kind of a bar area, but it's the way they've done the store. And he very kindly gave me a water bottle. So I've got a Tudor steel water bottle, and he gave me a watch travel case as well. So big thanks to Justin. Nice. And I'm hoping that we can do some more Tudor content on the channel. Maybe I can go into the store or borrow a few watches. But he says that store's been doing fantastic. The Tudor FXD that we talked about, they can't keep them in stock. As soon as they come in, they go. Yep. Same with the Chronos as well. The Tudor Chronos.
Interesting. Yeah. I think both are great.
Absolutely,
that's cool.
Well, that's the one watch update, and I'll keep people going. I've managed to save up YouTube ad revenue. I'm actually at nearly $2,500 towards this watch. From selling watches and from ad revenue, stuff like that.
So we're out of Timex, and we're into Christopher
Hamilton
Ward
territory.
Hamilton money.
And
Hamilton money.
Ward,
there you
go. Well, that was a little bit of fun, but now on to a more serious topic. Definitely wanted to acknowledge everything that's happening in Ukraine at the moment. We've got members of the Discord group and Facebook group who are Ukrainian. In particular, a friend of mine, Mikola from Man Cave Leather. He and his wife actually are now safe in Poland. We've been trying to help him out on the Discord group because he makes some amazing leather watch straps. I've reviewed them on the channel before. Kris, I've talked to you about them a number of times. I've given you a Man Cave Leather strap in the past. He's had to leave all of his... He's from Kyiv, or he's based in Kyiv, and he had to leave all of his leather working equipment and everything as you'd expect when they had to flee. As the situation unfolded, Mikola was very humble and didn't request any direct support, but a number of us got together, fans of his watch straps, people on the Facebook group and Discord group, and wanted to find a way to be able to help him. So thanks to everyone that was able to help him, TJ, Todd, Kris, Michael, and a few others that really helped out at that time. If anybody else is interested in donating, there is a way over on mancaveleather.com. You can donate $10 or whatever you can afford. This is something I'm quite passionate about, so if you do enjoy the podcast and you enjoy my YouTube channel, you know I don't normally ask for anything except for occasional subscription or hitting the like button, and I'm not even over the top with that. This is something I'm quite passionate about, and I would love it if you would also help support Mikola over at Man Cave Leather as well. He's a member of our community, has been ever since I started the channel, and I'd like to help him as much as I'd like to help anybody that's in need that's a part of this community. But just in general, the Red Cross, you can donate directly at the Red Cross, and I know Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, they've done an amazing GoFundMe. Adrian at Bark and Jack did an amazing NATO sale. He managed to source a Ukrainian flag style NATO. I think he's actually sourcing at the moment. They're going to be late ship, but he managed to raise over £17,000 from these NATO strap sales. I missed out on getting one, but I did manage to get one from a Canadian company called Strap Mill Canada. I've actually reached out to them to see if I can help them promote it in any other way, but they are doing so. If you go to www.strapmillcanada.com, they are doing a Ukrainian NATO strap as well, and all proceeds are going to go to the Canadian Red Cross. Christopher Ward did a limited edition watch in support of Ukrainian relief. The dial is the Ukrainian flag, so it's their Sealander one. I don't think it looks too bad, but check that out on Christopher Ward's website. A small act of defiance that means nothing at all. I removed some of my Vostok videos because I felt that, I know they're not necessarily supporting, but they're certainly glorifying the Russian military.
Right.
I removed those, and I'm not saying you have to sell your Vostok watches, but I just felt for myself.
Yeah. It's this is something that we've talked about this in the past. I mean, for as much as we love a three-hander with Arabics on it, the reason it exists, the reason why men wear wristwatches is not necessarily a storied past. It's part of war, and I think it needs to be acknowledged. And we should acknowledge it. We should talk about it, and not shy away from it, but also let's support the companies and people that are going to help direct some funds and support to those folks directly is great.
Absolutely. Well, let's dive into. We had a couple of subjects we wanted to talk about today. One which I don't know whether this is funny, Kris, but if anybody's been watching Omega recently, they teased a Swatch collaboration today, which I don't think anybody knows anything about.
Yeah, I saw that on Instagram. I was like, what?
Yeah, and they also seem to be playing Rolex at a bit of their own game, because they've released a series of Aqua Terras in 34mm and 38 with different coloured dials. So direct head-on with the OPs, of course, the oysters. Yeah. There's a red, there's a lightish blue, which you daren't say Tiffany blue. There's an orangey rust type
trademark
dial.
Blue. Trademark blue.
These are a lot more. They're not matte colours like the OPs are. These are sunburst colours. But what do you think about this direction that they've taken?
They are like a jelly color. They're not as solid, so they're all very sunburst, sort of jelly color. Yes. They remind me of the first what is the first IMAX?
You're right. They are, because the bay green is very much like the sage green.
Yeah.
The terracotta is very much like the red one. I wonder if my sister had the red one or the green one. But you're right, and they had the orange iMac. I hadn't made that distinction. But
I like the back of the blue too. And they kind of have two different. Yeah, they have two different types of blues. They have copyright blue and close to copyright blue. All right.
Yeah, do you know what? I think that they did a better job of using colour in the last Olympics watches that they did. I don't think they were called Aqua Terras, were they? But they did a traditional three-hander watch, which looks stunning, and they did
really
the
look
Olympic
good.
rings.
Yeah, it looked good. It looked good. My wife is a huge Olympics fan. We watched all the Winter Olympics. Got as much of it as we could, and I definitely have had my eye out on something like that for her. So, but they did a pretty good job there. For these, this is interesting because it's what they're making, what people want. So it's clear that Rolex had a hit with the colors, and so Omega's like, we're gonna make what people want. And Are they getting guff for it in the media, or is everybody kind of like, yeah, it's good? What do you think?
I heard, again, I watched a live stream with Paul Thorpe's live stream, Watch People's podcast with Agent Bark and Jack was on. I they're obviously not representative of the entire watch community, but the just apathy that they had for them, I think, is probably what a lot of people are thinking, because the Aqua Terra already came in. I think the Aqua Terra, first of all, doesn't get enough love in the watch community.
Yeah.
The bang for your buck,
I know, right?
Is awesome. I would love one in my collection as well. You can get them still on the grey market at a very good price.
Right.
The Aqua Terra is probably the only Omega that you can successfully still get on the grey market. I would say multiple different sizes. I bought my wife an Aqua Terra for our wedding. I've always liked them. I'm not you put the nail on the head. These dials are very vintage, but in like a modern watch case. That's what it seems to me. I'm not crazy about it.
Yeah, and with the coaxial movement, guys. Like that's the. I mean, you're getting. You're getting a great movement, great three-hander, fun colors. I think my point is, if Omega can do it, other watch companies can do it too. And if you're gonna let this pass, then let other watch companies pass. I find all the time when other companies make an integrated bracelet steel sports watch, that everybody gives them guff about it because it looks like the AP, it looks like the Nautilus, it looks like the and I think you're allowed as a watch company to make a bunch of colored dials on a platform that's very similar, but like you said, the Aqua Terra I think is has been underrated. It will often go to gray market so that they can move to the next year. Pretty cool.
There's a couple of Aqua Terras that I adore. There's a blue dial one that I adore. There's one that has a bluey grey dial, but the second hand is almost a fluorescent blue. I think that's awesome. One of my all-time favorite watches is the 15,000 Gauss. They're all measured to 15,000 Gauss. But when this one came out, I think I heard the other day that they affectionately call it the Bumblebee, but I've never heard it called that.
With that,
second.
The second hand. With the red and yellow and black second hand.
They have really rocketed up in price. I actually flirted with putting one on the list for my One Watch Challenge this year. And I don't know what's always stopped me from actually pulling the trigger on an Aqua Terra. Maybe I just need to, because bang for your buck, especially if you can get one on the grey market with that coaxial movement, you're getting a fantastic watch.
Maybe for us and collectors, we aspire to certain brands and we attach certain watches to certain brands of our like aspirational level of things that we want. And I think Omega might sort of suffer there from us, crazy watch guys, because in our brains we're like, well, if we have $3,000, if we have $5,000 to get an Aqua Terra at an Omega, then why don't we save up and get really this from Omega, and not sort of a collect them all way of thinking.
Yeah, and another thing that struck me about this this live stream that I was watching with Paul Thorpe is he's been quite critical of Omega in the past, but he's just bought the ProPlof, and I know we've got a member of our Facebook group that owns one. That is watch that has always intrigued me, but I've never. Have you ever seen one in person?
Yep. They're pretty. I mean, massive, unique, interesting. It's definitely a conversation starter piece, and it's not something that I couldn't even think about daily driving that thing around.
No, it is massive. Apparently, they made one in titanium as well, which might have brought it down a bit. Well, let us know what you guys think about these new Omegas. Probably best off on the Facebook group now.
Yeah, they're what are they in the $6,000 price tag?
Like the $5,500 range. Yeah, I think the smaller ones obviously are more of a ladies' piece because the indices are slightly different.
Right. Yeah, earlier I guessed I said $3,000 to $5,000, but I was off $1,000. So if you have $6,000, but still, $6,000. I mean, not that's priced up. Maybe you could work a discount, but like they're the hot color, everybody wants it. So
I'm not the first person that goes in and haggles an AD about a watch, but I wouldn't think twice about haggling on an Aqua Terra because seeing how many there are on the grey market, they're not shifted, and you don't see hardly any in the wild. We saw one. We're going to talk next about your OC Chrono, and I think that's the only time I saw that 15,000 Gauss one in the wild was a member of that group.
Yeah, you don't see them all the time, and I would hope. I mean, I don't know how Omega is, and I'll make a car salesman analogy here. There are car companies that will get a hot commodity car, like Honda will have a Integra Type R, or some hot car that everybody wants, some sports car in their lineup. And there are some companies that will sort of treat it as it's another car in our lineup, and if you'd like to see it and test drive it, we're going to let you do that. And then there are other companies that are like, oh no, these are rare, and we're not letting anybody take these out of the store, and we're going to mark up MSRP. I don't think Omega's that company. I think Omega's, they're going to price them right, and they're going to sell them. So
yeah, okay, it's
good.
So you've been back on the scene, back on the watch, the watch scene.
I know, right? We had a couple of weeks ago. We were at. I went out to a tennis club here in Orange County, and we had just a fantastic evening. It felt great, back sort of a post-apocalyptic watch meet. The stuff that we have seen in the last couple of years and everything going on in the world. It was good to get out and see some friends. I was over at the Chrono Group on Instagram. They originally were OC Chrono, OC_Chrono on Instagram. So the Chrono Group guys organized a meet over at the, I think it's the Laguna Tennis Club, I believe it is. I might have that wrong. But anyway, cool venue, kind of outside. So, there was no... we didn't have to worry too much about, everybody's trying to be safe, with masks and stuff, which is good. But we felt safe out on the terrace, and great food and drinks and discussion, and saw some cool stuff.
What was your surprise? What was your surprise hit?
Let's see. Let me look at my photos for a second.
Well, while you're looking at that, what did you take with you?
I took my kind of my 3 lineup, my Bell & Ross lineup. So I took my 10th anniversary chronograph, my 103 by Zinn Bell & Ross chronograph, and then I had my GMT. So kind of did that, and then I think and I also grabbed the Zinn. So the Zinn Bell & Ross lineup that I have, kind of put a couple in a watch roll and went on over there, which was fun. I'm trying to think of the standout. There's always lots of fun stuff there that you'll see. If you guys haven't gone to a watch meet, definitely find one in like the closest city that you're near and take a trip out there. They're super casual, and it's interesting to me because of the different stuff that you'll see. Like I saw another gold, the gold Speedmaster.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Which is, that's just and to hold on to it and to try it on, it is heavy and gorgeous and totally not a watch for me, but cool to check out. someone who brought some pretty heavy duty pieces and just sort of had like nondescript. It's amazing. We'll have like a few watch rolls out, a couple of watch boxes out, some of the Pelican case kind of deals. And it's just fascinating to see, you'll see a Pelican case with a bunch of, like Seiko samurais and monsters. And then you'll have one with 4 or 5 vintage Rolex in it. And then you'll have one with just, just a cool collection of whether it's Omega, Longines, etc. And then someone will just pop an AP chronograph just kind of down on and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's costs more than my everything. So it's just super fast. It's very, for me, again, like it's just like a car meet where you just go and someone will bring the Bugatti, and then someone will bring an old AE86, so someone's in the Corolla that he's working on, or someone's in a hypercar. So always fascinating, fun. The cool piece, I'd say, someone had a IWC Perpetual.
Oh right, yeah.
Just super gorgeous. Like their dress watch style. They have like 2. They have the pilot watch style and they have the dress watch one. And perpetual calendar. So it's got all the subtitles that I cannot read without glasses on, but super cool. The layout is great, and the owner was super excited to flip over to the next month for the first time and watch, stay up late and watch them all, because they're all a flip mechanism. So like it doesn't slowly turn to the next month. At midnight it flips to the next month instantaneously. Wow. Because of course it does. but from a like engineering mechanical, just super cool.
That's awesome. I don't know what caught my eye about this one, but this Hodinkee wrote, maybe it's filler, maybe it was a quiet day at the Hodinkee offices, but they wrote an article around even entry-level watches deserve a display caseback. On the article, they've used an example of the new SKX, the Seiko 5, with the, I guess it's a 4R36 movement that has a display caseback. And they're arguing here that all watches deserve a caseback. Do you agree with that, Kris?
I do. So for a couple of reasons. So here's my take. I didn't realize that there were automatic mechanical watches when I was a kid. I didn't realize that like you could wear a mechanical watch that wound itself when I was younger. And then when I found out, I was super interested in them, again, from the engineering standpoint. Having a display case on those smaller, or on those entry level pieces, I think gets people hooked into the hobby.
I don't disagree with you, actually, and I think it's funny that I owned a Speedmaster and I was lucky enough to have one that had a display case back, and at the time I bought it, I didn't know that was extremely rare for a Speedmaster Professional to have a transparent case back, and that movement is stunning in there.
It is.
I'm not sure about some of these Seikos like the 7R26 and things like that, because they're undecorated.
Yeah, little industrial. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, they're kind of, you could tell that they're stamped out. But I never understood why. Somebody will know this. I don't know it. But Rolex, I don't think I've ever had a display case back. It doesn't matter how expensive the watch is, as far as I'm aware. Whereas Omega now, every single watch has a. I think every single watch in their lineup has a display case back, if I'm not mistaken, except the Quartz.
Yeah, it's an interesting I think let it shine. So maybe maybe the tech at one point, but like even then, like I'm thinking like, all the way back to like the 1950s, like when gaskets weren't made out of synthetic everything, but no, I don't think there's a reason not to. I will file it under childlike delight.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter that it's there, but I mean, the fact that it is, you will just occasionally, like I'm looking at it right now, you'll take it off. You're kind of like, oh yeah, see the movement and the jewels and everything ticking away. And I mean, you want to make a 8-year-old's day.
Yeah.
Show them your mechanical watch with the big with the weight in the back that moves around when you swirl it around.
I was kind of going back and forth on this, whether I thought every watch, but you made an excellent point there. It's a great way of looking at the mechanism. Hodinkee also used Oris as a prime example here.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I mean, the Oris movements are absolutely gorgeous as well, especially their own in-house calibers, where they've put a lot of effort into embellishing, not necessarily embellishing the movement, but the layout of it. Even though it looks industrial, it's still gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's funny that I know there's certain brands where they do a transparent case back on a quartz watch, which
that's right. Yeah, that's tough.
Convinced.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, even with I think there's isn't there a Seiko that has that does a super jeweled quartz, and they did a display back. I think it might have been, but
yeah, Undone watch is the one.
Oh yeah,
springs to my mind when I think about a display case back.
Although
they do have a good reason.
I mean, even with even if it's got a bunch of jewels and you can see a bunch of the gear train, it's still not as delightful as the winding motion of an automatic.
The other movement that comes to mind that I always think about when on this subject is the STP, the Seagull 19 movement, the chronograph movement. It has a lot of deficiencies. It's not automatic. It's not hacking. It's only hand winding. But all is forgiven when you turn that thing over.
Right. That's a good example. Yeah.
Intricate. It's definitely a watch that is stunning from the back, and you can you push those buttons and you can.
Yep. You see all the little cams in it, and the chronograph. Yep, and the chronograph tick down, and all this. I mean, you're absolutely right. You're like, oh well, it's not the best, and it doesn't do this, and it doesn't do that. But you flip that over, and you're like, you're in a little delightful world, and that's that's okay.
Yeah, 100%. And I like. I'm going back and forth on this, but I think I prefer a case back over a skeletonized watch. I've never fell in love with a skeletonized watch. Where you can see some of the Christopher Ward Sapphire ones, I like those, but I'm not crazy about being able to see the movement from the front, I guess.
Yeah, maybe 5-6 years ago, there was like a bunch of open heart stuff that they did. Where they would skeletonize it, or they would open up where the balance was, and so you could see that from the front. Yeah, I'm with you. I've seen some better than others. Some of the Bell and Ross skeleton is very cool, but again, I don't think it's my style. So, because then you're sort of like you lose, but you are giving away some legibility, and the ability to tell time with your skeleton, because there's so much going on there, and you just kind of look down. I mean, you look at any of the any of the crazy who's the F1 sponsor of Watch Choice?
Richard Mille.
Any of the Richard Milles. I mean, you look down at those, and it's skeleton polished. I caught some F1 over the weekend, and you catch these guys walking around with those on, and you're like, are they even setting them to the right time? Like, can you even tell what time it is?
Well, that's been awesome. Well, as always, guys, let us know over on the Facebook group or join us over on the Discord. As always, we appreciate you listening, and we'll see you next time on Casual Watch Talk. Thanks, guys. Bye.